Ever feel anxious, foggy, or just off? But blood tests say you're fine. What if the problem isn't in your head but in your gut? Did you know that 90% of serotonin, the happy hormone, is produced in your gut? That's right, your gut. Let that sink in. 90% of the happy hormone serotonin is produced in your gut. So today we're talking about something most people never hear from their doctor, the surprising link between gut health and mental health. We're diving deep into the gut-brain axis and exploring how your digestive system could be the key to managing anxiety, improving your mood, and reclaiming your energy. Let's face it, mental health challenges like anxiety and depression are increasingly common. In Australia, the Black Dog Institute reports that nearly half of all Australians will experience a mental health condition in their lifetime. And in the United States, the National Institute of Mental Health reports that nearly 1 in 5 adults will live with a mental illness each year. That's over 50 million people. But what if I told you that the solution to feeling better might start in your stomach and not at the GP? How is it possible that our gut influences our mood, our thoughts, and our overall mental state? I remember after my third baby, I was exhausted, I was foggy, I was anxious, I was snappy, and I thought it was just stress or hormones. But when I saw a naturopath, she asked me a pivotal question. How is your gut? And that one question led me to an entirely new understanding of my body. And once I began to heal my gut, my brain felt clear again. My emotions felt balanced, and I felt like me again. So let's break this down. Inside your gut are trillions of bacteria, fungi, and microbes, and this ecosystem is called your gut microbiome. And these tiny organisms, they don't just digest food, they produce happy chemicals called neurotransmitters, which regulate your immune system and communicate directly with your brain via the vagus nerve. And that nerve is the main nerve connecting the gut and the brain. Some even call the gut the second brain because it contains over 100 million nerve cells. Your microbiome influences your mood by making happy chemicals like serotonin, dopamine, and GABA production. It influences your immune response because how strong your body's defenses are and how well you handle stress and even your sleep and memory. And the balance of good and bad bacteria can really change how you feel, from calm to anxious. Let's make this even easier to understand. When you eat lots of different plants, you're feeding the good gut bugs, and these bugs then make something called butyrate, a special kind of fat. And this fat helps calm down swelling in your brain and helps your brain grow new cells and stay strong. Think of it like fertilizer for your brain. Now for the real eye-opener. A groundbreaking study published in the journal Nature Microbiology found a direct link between gut bacteria and mood. They showed that specific gut bacteria strains were directly linked to mood regulation. And researchers took stool samples from people diagnosed with clinical depression, and they transplanted them into germ-free mice, which are mice that have no gut bacteria of their own. And within days, the mice began to exhibit depressive-like behaviors. They were less social, more anxious, and showed signs of learned helplessness. And this wasn't psychological, this was biological. Just by changing the gut bacteria, researchers changed the mouse's mental state. And this study proved, in a way no pill or scan ever could, that your gut microbiome isn't just involved in mood, it can create it. So it's not in your head, it's in your gut. And if this is starting to make sense, give this video a like. It helps more women find it too. Closer to home, the SMILES trial, led by Deakin University, took participants with moderate to severe depression and gave them a simple diet change, the Mediterranean diet. It was rich in fruits, vegetables, legumes, nuts, fish, olive oil, and whole grains. And within 12 weeks, the diet group had a significant reduction in depression symptoms compared to the control group. Let that sink in. What you eat can be as powerful as medication for mental health. And on the flip side, ultra-processed foods loaded with sugar, refined carbs, and additives feed the bad bacteria in your gut. And these microbes produce toxic byproducts which trigger inflammation and disrupt your gut lining. It's like sending a text message from your gut to your brain that says, I'm not okay. So if you feel anxious, flat, or inflamed, your food may be the fuel. All right, let's get practical. Here are 3 quick tips you can start implementing today for a healthier gut and a happier mind. Tip 1. Start your day with a glass of water and a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. This can help balance your gut's pH and promote good bacteria growth. Tip 2. Aim for at least 30 different plant-based foods per week, and this diversity feeds a wide range of beneficial gut bacteria. Tip 3. Take 5 slow, deep breaths before each meal to calm your nervous system. This helps your gut digest food more efficiently and reduce stress. So what does a gut healing day actually look like? Let's look at breakfast, for example. Scrambled eggs with spinach and a spoon of kimchi, amazing. Lunch, quinoa salad with chickpeas, cucumber, and olive oil, amazing. Snacks, in the afternoon, walnuts and a square of dark chocolate. This is my favorite. I also love macadamias. Dinner, salmon with roasted veggies and sauerkraut. And in the evening, chamomile tea with no screens. It's simple, it's real, and it's completely doable. But it's not just about what's on your plate. Let's talk about stress and sleep. 2 things most women I know are constantly battling, especially in the thick of motherhood. I remember a time when my youngest was teething, my older 2 were fighting, and I hadn't slept through the night in weeks. I was overwhelmed, I was forgetting basic things, and I felt like I was failing. But what I didn't know then was that the chronic stress and sleep deprivation weren't just making me emotional, they were disrupting my gut. Let's look at the science behind this. When you're under chronic stress, your body produces cortisol, the stress hormone. High cortisol levels increase gut permeability, also known as leaky gut. They lower good bacteria and trigger inflammation in the brain and the body. A 2017 study published in Frontiers in Psychiatry found that chronic psychological stress reduces microbial diversity in the gut, and lower diversity is strongly linked to depression and anxiety symptoms. So what this means is that severe stress causes severe harm to your gut, which in turn causes depression and anxiety. And sleep? Sleep is your gut's repair time. Without deep, uninterrupted sleep, your gut lining can't heal, your hormones can't regulate, and your emotional resilience takes a dive. A 2020 study from Sleep Medicine Reviews concluded that poor sleep quality negatively altered gut microbiome composition, which in turn disrupted emotional processing and cognitive clarity the next day. In simple terms, if you don't sleep well, your gut gets stressed, and that makes your brain feel foggy and your emotions harder to manage. It's a vicious cycle. Stress disrupts your gut. Your gut dysregulates or confuses your brain, and your brain can't calm the stress. Round and round it goes. But here's the good news. Even simple daily rituals can interrupt that loop. Meditation, even just 5 minutes a day, helps lower cortisol and calm the nervous system. Gentle movement like yoga, stretching, or walking outdoors helps regulate your vagus nerve. And prioritizing sleep, I know easier said than done, gives your gut the space to repair and reset. Aim for 7 to 9 hours of sleep each night, and if you're in a season of broken nights, hello new mums, give yourself compassion, but also create rhythms, calming tea, blue light limits, magnesium, and mindfulness before bed. This isn't about perfection, it's about protection. Protecting your gut so it can protect your brain. Now let's flip the switch. Remember, the gut-brain connection is a two-way street. Your brain can also influence your gut. For example, anxiety can lead to digestive issues like irritable bowel syndrome, IBS. And that's why managing stress is so important. We've spent most of the video exploring how your gut affects your brain, but here's something just as important. Your brain also influences your gut. In fact, the communication goes both ways. It's a two-way street. When you're under emotional stress, your brain sends out a cascade of chemical messages, adrenaline and cortisol, all of which can disrupt digestion, immune function, and the delicate balance of your gut microbiome. And it doesn't take a traumatic event for this to happen. Even the chronic low-grade stress so many of us carry, deadlines, family demands, scrolling news feeds, it can be enough to shift your gut out of balance. Research from Harvard Medical School shows that anxiety and depression aren't just felt in the head, they are often expressed through the gut. And this is what researchers call functional gastrointestinal disorders, conditions like IBS, bloating, cramping, or nausea that often have no clear physical cause, but are deeply connected to the emotional stress. In simple terms, when your mind is upset, your stomach can feel it too, even if nothing is physically wrong. And as someone who's been there, I get it. After my second child, we moved house and I decided to save the money on removalists and pack and move ourselves. I went through a season of intense anxiety. I had a 2-year-old and a newborn, and my husband was working long days at the office, which meant I was on my own. On paper, everything was fine, but inside, I felt on edge and I couldn't exhale. And strangely, that anxiety started showing up in my stomach, tightness, bloating, and cramps. I thought it was food, and I thought it was the hormones, but I had no idea my gut and my brain were having their own conversation behind the scenes. But that wasn't the only time stress hijacked my gut. Back in 2016, I went through something much more intense, a trauma that triggered full-blown PTSD, and this time it didn't just affect my emotions, it devastated my gut health. One study published in Brain, Behavior and Immunity found that people with PTSD had significantly altered gut microbiomes with lower microbial diversity and higher inflammation. Why? Because trauma disrupts the gut-brain axis. It changes how your nervous system communicates with your gut. It makes digestion harder, it weakens your immune system, it opens the door for harmful bacteria to take over. So when I say your mental health affects your gut, I don't mean that lightly. I've lived it. And here's what's even more powerful. Another study in the journal Gastroenterology found that over 50% of people with IBS also had anxiety or depression. And get this, when researchers treated their psychological symptoms, their gut symptoms improved even without any change to their diet. And this means the mind-body connection isn't just real, it's a major key to healing. When you're anxious, your body enters fight or flight mode, redirecting blood away from your gut, reducing stomach acid, slowing digestion. It's not built to digest food whilst bracing for danger, and over time, that state can weaken your gut lining, suppress immunity, and completely shift your microbiome. So yes, healing the gut starts with food, but sustaining that healing, it starts with your nervous system. And that's why managing stress isn't optional, it's essential. And this can look like taking 3 deep breaths before each meal, journaling to offload racing thoughts, doing 10 minutes of yoga in your pajamas, saying no without guilt, or simply doing nothing for a few quiet minutes. Because the calmer your mind, the safer your gut feels. And when your gut feels safe, it heals. So now that we understand how deeply your gut and your brain are connected, the question becomes, what can you actually do to support both? And let's start with what's on your plate. A healthy microbiome thrives on diversity, and that means a variety of fiber-rich plant-based foods. Think whole grains like oats, quinoa, and brown rice, legumes such as lentils and chickpeas, a rainbow of fruits and vegetables, and each of these act like fuel for your good gut bacteria, helping them flourish and do their job of supporting mood, metabolism, and immunity. So next, introduce fermented foods like kimchi, sauerkraut, kefir, miso, and natural yogurt. These foods are rich in live probiotics that directly support your gut microbiome and, by extension, your mental clarity and emotional resilience. Gut healing doesn't stop with food. It begins with how you feel when you eat and live. That's where stress management comes in. Even just 5 to 10 minutes of daily practices can rewire your nervous system and calm your gut. Deep breathing or guided meditation, gentle yoga or stretching, walking barefoot on grass or time in nature, journaling your thoughts or gratitude, saying no without apology, and creating space for rest. And let's talk about something most people overlook: sleep. Sleep is your gut's repair window. Without it, the gut lining can't heal, your stress hormones stay elevated, and your emotional resilience starts to crumble. Aim for 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep each night. If you're in a season of broken sleep, hello new mums, know this consistency and small habits still count. Try winding down with magnesium, chamomile tea, blue light blockers, or even just silence. You don't need a 12-step program to reset your gut-brain axis. You just need daily, simple, repeatable choices. Because what you do every day matters more than what you do once in a while. When you care for your gut, you care for your mind. A thriving microbiome can help reduce anxiety, improve mood, increase focus, and build long-term emotional resilience. This isn't just physical wellness, it's a foundation for your mental well-being. To sum it up, the connection between your gut and your brain is not only real, it's transformational. Your gut isn't just influencing your mood, it's shaping your entire experience of life. Heal your gut, and you don't just feel better, you become you again. And what's your experience with the gut-brain connection? Have you ever felt stress in your stomach or noticed mood changes after changing your diet? Let's keep the healing going. Comment below if this resonated with you, and don't forget to subscribe for more simple, science-backed videos just like this. Your gut and your brain will thank you. And if you're ready to learn more, check out my other video on healing your gut from the inside out. You can find it right here on my channel.